That's right, family. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon said he kicked back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon YouTube page, a dynamic page. We don't need no hype. You can check our resume. The information we put out is dynamic information. You can click the link down in the video description that'll give you a video introduction on what the memberships entail. If you see one you like, you should most definitely join. And even if you don't, we still appreciate you over here. We appreciate your presence at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies for the kings, the queens, and the children. We got a dynamic catalog for the children. You should get over there, check it out. We got 25% off selected products at this time. You can get you something nice, get you a discount. We also got African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics, and remedies. That's right. kingseti.com. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University, over 1,000 video presentations on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare, advanced African academics, developing the Black nation, one lesson at a time. The complete General Sarah Soon Seti website with all the subjects that you know and love from the general in libraries and catalogs. A win-win. You cannot lose. You feel me? Check it out. Just go check it out and thank me later. Seti popping on Patreon, BPC making noise, we never come. Exclusive live streams, too hot to handle on YouTube, but just so exquisite, we keep it for our family on Patreon. We drop 3 heavy ones today. You need to get run. Check it out. Check the titles out. You know we keep that fire on Patreon with over 185 exclusive live streams, never to be seen on any other platform other than Patreon. So get over there, family, and make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends and comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, as we look out here and we see what's going on, you know, a lot of people don't even know what this, what we call the King Alfred plan is. That just show you how, where the community, you know, the African-centered community has, you know, has dumbed itself down, that even key, you know, things that we talk about down through the years, such as the King Alfred plan, is no longer talked about. You see, and it's a very critical aspect that our people must be aware of here in the United States of America, of this King Alfred plan. You see, which is a plan of extermination. You see, a plan of extermination in case Black people, you know, had a large insurrection in the United States, how the United States would go about, you see, crushing that insurrection. And so it is laid out in such a way, you see, let me get to it. That every aspect, let me see, is this it right here? Let me see if this is it.
ING.
Let me turn that down. Is that it? I believe that's it right there. There you go. There you go, right there. We're gonna go over this. Cause see, they, you know, when you start seeing a lot of crazy shit going on, Well, I just seen it. Where did it go? I just saw it. Are you trying to escape me? Trying to escape me. I'm gonna get it, y'all. Hold on. Yeah, he's trying to escape me. He's trying to. It's like they trying to block me from getting to the motherfucker. Yeah, I just had it up here. Now it just like goddamn. They trying to block the general. Yeah, they trying to block me. That's all right. Hold on. That's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna go right where I originally saw it. I'm gonna go right where I originally saw it. Did they take the shit off? Man, get out of here. I ain't gonna even. I won't believe it. Wait a minute, man. It's like they didn't removed it. They couldn't have did that, man. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Let me get in here and see what's going on. Hold on, y'all. Let me go down here. That's one, but that ain't what I'm looking for. Let me see. Okay, you got one right there, but that's not the one I'm looking for. That's not the one I'm looking for. It's like they didn't remove that shit just that quick. I'm not kidding you. I was just looking at it and they didn't remove it. I can't believe that shit. Something ain't right. I don't believe that. How the hell that damn page just disappear like that? That's crazy as hell. That's some bullshit. Hold on, y'all. Here we go. I got him. I got him. They tried to run from me. I found that motherfucker, man. That shit crazy. That's like they just now. Let's deal with this. All right. King Alfred plan, code name Rex 84. Totally repugnant to the United States Republic Constitution for people under its protection. Introduction. The plan first appeared in John A. Williams' 1967 novel, The Man Who Cried I Am, a fictional account of the life and death of Richard Wright. In the afterword to later edition, William compares the King Alfred plan to intelligent programs devised by J. Edgar Hoover in the 1960s to monitor the movements of black militia. It also bears similarities to rumors in the early 1950s surrounding the McCarran Act, an anti-communist law in which political subversives were to be rounded up and placed in concentration camps during a national emergency. When his novel was first published, Williams photocopied portions of the book detailing the King Alfred plan and left copies in subway car seats around Manhattan. As a result, word of the King Alfred plan spread throughout the Black community, and the truth of his existence was often assumed to be unchallenged. Performer and musician Gil Scott-Heron created the song King Alfred Plan, included on his 1972 album Free Will, that takes the plan at face value. Now, so what I want y'all to understand, they're going to try to play this game as if it's something that just was created out of thin air, that it has no reality, but we know better than that, because no organization, no government going to let you know if they got, but we've seen it put in place already. You see, even with this pandemic, they had concentration camps set aside. You see, where if they had to, and they still got them. You see, they ain't went nowhere. They, they ain't went nowhere. So they could still use these concentration camps. They could take if your ass got some disease or whatever, or they say you got it, they can hoard your ass off and put your ass in, and they can release you when they feel, you understand what I'm saying, is warranted. And if it's not warranted, your ass can stay right there. You see? And so Jim Jones, head of the apostolic socialist People's Temple, discussed the plan at length in numerous recordings of his rant-style speeches. Now, this is old Jim Jones who killed all them. He brings the plan up, you see, and he enacted the plan too. Shit, you see, killing all them black people. But anyway, his both in the U.S. and in the Jonestown community of Guyana, treating it as completely genuine. King Alfred plan, codenamed Rex Eddie, for in the event of widespread and continuing and coordinated racial disturbances in the United States, King Alfred King Alfred plan, at the discretion of the president, is to be put into action. Okay? Memo, National Security Council. Even before 1954, when the Supreme Court of the United States of America declared unconstitutional separate education and recreational facilities, racial unrest and discord had become very nearly a part of the American way of life. But the way of life was repugnant to most Americans. Since 1954, however, the unrest and discord have broken out into widespread violence, which increasingly has placed the peace and stability of the nation in dire jeopardy. This violence has resulted in loss of life, limb, and property, and has cost the taxpayers of this nation billions of dollars. And the end is not yet in sight. The same violence has raised a tremendous grave question as to whether the races could ever live in peace with each other. Each passing month has brought a new intelligence that despite new laws passed to alleviate the condition of the minority still is not satisfied. Demonstrations and riots have become a part of the familiar scene. Troops have been called out in city after city across the land, and our image as a world leader severely damaged. Our enemies press closer, seeking the advantage, possibly at the time during one of these outbreaks of violence. The minority has adopted an almost military posture to gain its objectives, which are not clear to most Americans. It is expected, therefore, that when those objectives are denied, the minority racial war must be considered inevitable. You see, that when those objectives are denied the minority, racial war must be considered inevitable. When that emergency comes, we must expect the total involvement of all. Now, at that time, 22 million. So they saying 40, that we expect the total involvement of all members of the minority, men, women, and children. For once this project is launched, its goal is to terminate, listen, once and for all, the minority threat to the whole of the American society and indeed the free world. That's very serious, y'all. That's very serious. That they talking about the total extermination. Now listen, Chairman, National Security Council, preliminary memo, Department of Interior under King Alfred, the nation has been divided, listen, into 10 regions. In case of emergency, minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units, local and state police, and if necessary, by units of the regular armed forces using public and military transportation, and detained in nearby military installations until a further course of action has been decided. Okay, so then you got the capital region, number one, northeast region, southeast region, Great Lakes region, South Central region, Deep South region 2, Great Plains, Rocky Mountain region, Southwest region, West Coast region. No attempt will be made to seal off the Canadian and Mexican borders. Okay? Secretary, Department of Interior. Okay? This is 18. So when they talking about 1849, 899, King of England, I guess who was Alfred, who slaughtered thousands under the guise of protecting the European religion of Christianity. As a result, he was revered as one of the most noble kings in the history of England. Okay? Department of Justice, okay, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Central Intelligence Agency. There are 12 minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. Obviously, these are older organizations, and so, of course, some may exist today. Most of them probably already been infiltrated, and so it would be new. It would be new organizations today. Dossiers have been compiled on the leaders of the organizations and can be studied in Washington. The material contained in many of these dossiers, and our threat to reveal that material has considerably held in check some of the leaders. Okay, on page 3 or 4, do not have such usable material in their dossiers, have approached to take government posts mostly as ambassadors and primary in African countries. The promise of those positions also has materially contributed to a temporarily slowdown of minority activities. However, we do not expect these slowdowns to be of long duration because there's always new and dissident elements joining these organizations with the potential power to replace the old leaders. Okay, all organizations and their leaders are under constant 24-hour surveillance. The organizations are, number one, the Black Muslims, number two, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, Congress of Racial Equality, the Uhuru Movement, Group on Advanced Leadership Goal, Freedom Now Party. And I believe that's that brother that might, they ran up in his headquarters out there in St. Petersburg. I believe that was his movement, Freedom Now Party. United Black Nationalists of America, the Pan-African Movement, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the National Urban League, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Committee on Racial and Religious, where'd it go? Religious Progress. Note, at the appropriate time to be designated by the president, the leaders of some of these organizations are to be detained only when it is clear that they cannot prevent the emergency. So they're going to put it on them to calm these niggas down. And if they do not, they ass will be detained. Okay? Working with local public officials during this first critical hours, all other leaders are to be detained at once. All other leaders are to be detained at once. Compiled list of minority leaders have been readied at the National Data Computer Center. It is necessary to use the minority leaders designated by the president in much the same manner in which we use minority members who are agents with the central and federal, and we cannot, until there is no alternative, reveal King Alfred in all his aspects. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. This move is not without precedence in American history. Okay, the memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report to Joint Chiefs of Staff. This report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. Okay, the greatest concentration of the minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast. While the national population exceeds that of the minority by more than 10 times, we must realistically take into account the following. An estimated 40 to 50% of the white population will not, for various reasons, engage the minority during an emergency. An estimated 40 to 50% of the white population will not, for various reasons, engage the minority during an emergency. American armed forces are spread around the world. A breakout of war abroad means fewer troops at home to handle the emergency. Local law enforcement officials must contain the emergency until help arrives, though it may mean fighting a superior force. New York City, for example, has a 25,000-man police force, but there are about 1 million minority members in the city, and it's over that now. It's way over that. It's probably about 2, probably over that. You see? And so we are confident that the minority would hold any city it took for only a few hours. Listen now, the lack of weapons, facilities, logistics, all put the minority at a final disadvantage. Since the Korean War, this department has shifted minority members of the armed forces to areas where combat is most likely to occur. See that? They put your ass in the army and they take your ass right on over there and put you right on the front lines with the aim of eliminating through combat as many combat-trained military servicemen as possible. Today, the ratio of minority member combat deaths in Vietnam where they are serving as advisors is twice as high as the minority population ratio to the rest of America. Below is the timetable for the King Alfred as tentative suggested by the Justice or JCS, who recommend that the operation be made over a period of 8 hours. Local police and minority leaders in action to head off. Number one, local police and minority leaders in action to head off the emergency. Number two, countdown to 8 hours begins at the moment the president determines the emergency to be national, A, national, B, coordinated, C, of long duration, the 8th hour, 3, county police join local police in the 7th hour. You see, 4, state police join county and local police in the 6th hour. Federal marshal join state, county, and local forces in the 5th hour. National Guards, federalized, held in readiness, 4th hour. Regular armed forces alerted, take up positions. Minority troops divided and detained. Minority troops divided and detained, along with all white sympathizers under guard. 3rd hour. 8th hour, all minority leaders, national and local, detained. 2nd hour. President addresses minority on radio, television, gives them 1 hour to end the emergency. That's the 1st hour. All units under regional command into the emergency, 0 hours, 0 committee report. Survey shows that during the 6-year period, production created 9 million objects, or 1,500,000 each year. Production could not dispose of the containers, which proved to be a bottleneck. However, that was almost 20 years. We suggest the vaporizing techniques be employed to overcome the production problems inherent in King Alfred. I'm trying to figure that one out right there. 0 survey showed that during the production created. Okay, let me get down here. These motherfuckers is crazy, man. Y'all got to read this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So they saying that the 0 committee is referring to the problems that occurred in Nazi Germany when the furnaces were not hot enough to burn the bodies that Hitler had killed. The bodies clogged up the furnace, thereby causing a problem that the above committee recommended avoiding by building high-volume nuclear power incinerators that burn 5,000 degrees. It should be noted that steel melts at approximately 2,700 degrees. So they're talking about building nuclear power incinerators to burn the bodies, man. So they talking about gassing motherfuckers. Yeah. They talking about gassing motherfuckers, man. So I don't understand that how motherfuckers don't even talk about this. See, that just show you how watered down this community is talking about a bunch of dumbass shit. This shit should be discussed almost every day in the black community. Yeah. We should be talking about this every day, all goddamn day. That what these peoples is talking about. Nah, the fact that, who would claim something like this? You see, who would claim something like this? But you can see that, during the 60s and 70s, where it was, the prospect for, insurrection all over the goddamn country. You see that they had something in place, and we could hear the racism coming out the mouth of them goddamn crackers back then. You already knew that this is is as possible and as American as apple pie. And that the goddamn American is no more a Nazi than in the motherfucking Hitler. You see what I'm saying? No less a Nazi. And you got to understand that they would be willing to do any goddamn thing to curtail any type of mass insurrection by black people in this country. And so when I read that, it's been a minute, and I've been meaning to read it. And, and every time I read that, every time I read it, it just brings chills down my spine because I know how real, and anybody that listen know how real it could be. You understand what I'm saying? We know what the U.S. and many other countries out here are capable of. And believe me, to preserve the Union, I know that they are willing to go to those extents. And so I'm gonna make sure that I continue to bring this up more and more and more. I got to have at least 10 goddamn videos immediately up dealing with this King Alfred plan, because somebody got to teach our people what's really going on out here, man. This community has detached itself from some very some real and concrete issues that we normally would have talked about just 10 years, not even 10 years, but I know 10 years ago this was talked about. You see what I'm saying? It was talked about. We would talk about FEMA and all the shit that they got out there, and all the caskets that FEMA had ordered. I remember we was talking about. Now you don't hear nothing. What's going on? So family, we got to wake up out here. Make sure you get some information on the King Alfred plan, and if you can, drop a link. Make sure you post it out there and keep it relevant to the minds of the people. And for most people out here in this day and age, they've never heard of it. So it's very important that we continue to expose our people to this information. You're right. Everybody want to be a celebrity. I want to thank y'all for being here tonight. I had to get in here because and I'm not done with Uncle Clarence Thomas. I'm not done with him. So y'all just stay tuned, and we'll most definitely be blasting him out again tomorrow. This is General Sarah Soon-Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast. Daily liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Power.